Here's a line drive high and deep to left. It is gone! 3-run home run, Kyle Kubat. Fly ball to left, Sweeney hit well, and oh, Charlie Capsella, what a play! Here's a line drive out to center field. It's a grand slam! Going back is Shaw. He is going to get there. What a catch! And he's going to hop over the fence while doing it. What a coming home. It's Morales to throw on a double up. Is it in time? It is in time! Here's a rocket. Deep left field. Does this have a chance to go? It is gone! Go ahead, homer. Tyler Wiltshire on the first pitch. Play called for a back on the 14th, and there's number 100. Stephen Devaney with a line drive to left. He's 2 for 2. And with triple digits for number 1 as difference. And here's a ground ball shooting through the left side. And Kingsway has won the Ralph Shaw opener. Here we go. Fly ball deep left center field. And it is gone. Grand slam. Scott Lynch, grand slam. Is the man of the hour. There's a ground ball. It's going to go into center field. It's going to be picked up. And it's going to be booted. Here comes the runner to the plate. And Pittman has won it in extras. Walk-off single, Jude Engstrom. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, summer is in full swing, and we start out our summer schedule with coverage of American Legion baseball between the Washington Township Post 521 Minutemen and the Brooklawn Post 72 Brookers. It's going to be a good one today. I'm Dan Wilkins here from the Joe Barth Field in Brooklawn, home of Gloucester Catholic, but of course Gloucester Catholic season is already over, but we're going to see a lot of their players in the order today for the Post 72 Brookers. Let's go with the starting lineups here, starting with the Washington Township Post 521 Ball Club as coached by Anthony Korma, the head coach of Glassboro Baseball and the Bulldogs. Starting out in left field, batting leadoff is Coy Camascoli of Williamstown High School. There is Matt Corner, the shortstop, batting second out of Penn State. Batting third and playing first base is number 18, Dan Riesel of Washington Township. At the DH spot, batting cleanup is going to be number 9, Kyle Crozier of Washington Township. Batting fifth and in center field is number 20, Robert Carfagno of Highland. Batting sixth and at third base is Pittman's third baseman, number 1, Stephen Devaney. Batting seventh and behind the plate is number 8, that is the catcher John Wallace of Cumberland County College. You've got the right fielder batting 8th, number 19, Joe Ruffino of Washington Township, and then the second baseman batting 9th for Washington Township Post 521 is number 24, Ryan Nace of Paul Sixth. Luke Haddad is going to be the starting pitcher for the Post 521 team out of Washington Township. But it looks like Brooklawn is taking the field, so let's turn our attention to them as we read off the Brooklawn starting lineup in this one. For the Brooklawn Post 72 Brookers, it's Joey Bogart of Gloucester Catholic batting leadoff and at the second base position. RJ Mastaro of Gloucester Catholic is in center field batting second. Damon Zuriani is the catcher for Gloucester Catholic's Post 72 team batting third. GCIT and Nick Sperunta is the shortstop. Batting fifth and in right field is Sal Cerciani of Gloucester Catholic. Dougie King of Paulsboro is batting sixth at third base. Tyler Bunning of Gloucester Catholic is the DH batting sixth. Batting seventh is going to be, batting eighth is going to be Jack Mastaro of Gloucester Catholic batting in the 7-hole at first base. In left field, Flash Krzyzewski is going to be in left field, and then Evan Brassberger is going to be on the mound for Post 72. So let's take a look at these two teams. Obviously going to be a good matchup here today, as obviously the American Legion season has been going on for about a week now, but summer baseball is proof that baseball season never truly ends. You've got winter leagues, you've got spring leagues, summer leagues, fall leagues. Baseball is one of those sports that just truly never takes a break. And American Legion Baseball, stuff like this with high school and college players, really a great showcase of the region's best in what will be a great game today here for both sides. This broadcast is brought to you by by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. As Camascoli of Williamstown High School is going to get it started here at Pop Barth Field in Brooklawn, home of Gloucester Catholic, but home to a lot more stuff, as we've got American Legion Baseball coming up on a beautiful Monday evening from Brooklawn. First pitch of the ball game from Brassberger, and there is a ball outside. He attempted to bunt, but didn't get that one down. Popped up, out towards shallow left. Under it, and making the catch out there in left will be Flash Kraszewski, and that's going to be the first out. Bringing up Matt Corner. Now, I should say about Corner's case is that he is not, he does not actually play for the Penn State baseball team. He only attends there for an education. He does not actually play on the baseball team, but I was geeked out by that. I thought, I thought we'd have a Penn State shortstop batting here, but that was not the case. First pitch, ground ball out and stopped it short, but he's not going to have a play. So Speranta isn't able to make the play, and that's going to be an infield single for Matt Corner, bringing up Reisel, the center fielder here. Quick start so far, a second pitch fly out and then a first pitch single for Matt Corner, and that's how we've gotten started here this evening, as that one is a first pitch foul. 0-1. Dan Reisel batted .273 in 2023 with Washington Township. 15 for 55, 5 doubles, 1 triple, and a .400 slugging percentage. 0-1, misses upstairs, 1-1 rather. Of course, Gloucester Catholic, one of the most dominant teams in all of New Jersey. They steamrolled really all of their opponents. They won their state final game over St. Mary's Rutherford 10-0. It was a 6-inning mercy rule game. To win the state finals, I mean, really, to win the state championship by 10 runs is just a sheer form of domination, as it's going to be upstairs, 3-1. Crozier on deck here for Washington Township, 521, as there's a line drive foul past first base, and it'll make it a full count here, 3-2. You're watching coverage of American Legion Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. No score in the top of the first, and a runner on first for the Minutemen. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. And of course, you can always find out where we'll be at any given time by following our Twitter at DW Broadcasting. So Brassberger here with a runner on first. Trying to deal with the situation here, not letting up too much early. I mean, both teams have a very nice lineup. I think this is going to be a great game, well-rounded on both sides. As here's a fly ball deep down the right field line, and it is going to be a foul ball. Just got beyond the reach of Brooklawn's right fielder, as it's going to be still a full count. That was close, though. I mean, you don't see many home runs here hit at Joe Barth Field. If you actually were to hit the ball to the deepest part of the ballpark where the softball field is in right center, you'd have to hit it 459 feet to get it out. I mean, really, this has some of the wackiest dimensions that I've ever seen for a South Jersey field, but it is just grass, grass, and more grass. As we said, to right center field, 459 feet. That's 30 feet deeper than the deepest center field dimension in any MLB park. I'm sure major leaguers would have problems getting the ball out here. I mean, it's an unusual dimension, but Gloucester Catholic for decades has worked with what they've been able to work with. That one's going to be inside, and Washington Township gets a walk here to put 2 runners on with 1 down. As the DH Crozier going to come up here for Township. Kyle Crozier in the cleanup spot. Class of 2023, 20 for 64 in his senior swan song campaign. 5 home runs, although I don't know if he'll be hitting anybody today or hitting any today in this ballpark, but 312 average, 9 walks, and 17 RBIs. Had as many doubles as he did homers, so an impressive stat. But runners on first and second for Washington Township. First pitch from Brassberger is a strike to Crozier, 0-1. Robert Carfagno of Highland is on deck here, as Crozier is going to look to drive home a run, or even 2 or 3 if he can get the ball deep enough into the gap as Brassberger steps off. That one will miss, 1-1. One pitch to Crozier. Swing and a miss. Hefty hack there. It's 1-2. Here we go, 1-2 from Brassberger. Runners on first and second here for post 521. And there's a breaking ball. And Crozier is retired looking. 2 down. And now here is Carfagno of Highland Regional. Highland really had an up and down season. They started off 4-7. They started off the year down in the Carolinas and had a spring break trip and came back, and just didn't seem like they were the same team that they were, you know, a couple of years ago, making those deep playoff runs. But they came back. They had a 10-game winning streak, improved to 17-7, and even though the season didn't end the way they wanted to, they got further than I had definitely expected. But that is not going to be in time. I thought for sure that they would have got them at first, but that was a very, very close play. And honestly, from the angle that the second base umpire is at, I don't know if you can make a fair judgment call from that angle. So 6 one way, half a dozen another, but we'll attack it again here. 2 on, 2 down, and there is a ball high and away to Carfagno. If the inning were to continue, Stephen Devaney of Pittman is on deck. There's a strike. owns the ball. Fouled back, and we'll stay alive here. And that's a swing and a miss, and Brassberger gets out of the first inning jam with 2 strikeouts back-to-back as 5 men come up to the plate and none score. Brooklawn's going to be getting their first chance here in the bottom of the first from Joe Barth Field in Brooklawn. We'll be right back, folks. Luke Haddad of Washington Township getting the start here for post 521 as he'll face off against Joey Bryant, the Gloucester Catholic second baseman here, getting things started for the Brookers post 72. Here we go, Haddad, first pitch. There's a strike, 0-1. Washington Township got 2 runners on in the top half of the first inning, but did not score. Here's a ground ball, hit out towards short. Picked up, throw to first is gonna be in time. And Bogart is retired, and there's one away, bringing up R.J. Mastaro. To my right, there's a group of people just walking out onto the field with their dogs. I don't know if that's... Well, for comic effect, I hope somebody hits a really deep fly ball to right center field. I want to see how that would work. See how it works in the scorecard, you know? Oh boy. Here's the 1-0 and a bunt popped up and on top of the batting cages. It's 1-1. Yeah, out of the 9 people in this lineup, you've got all but 2 Gloucester Catholic players. You've got Nick Sperunta of GCIT and then Doug King of Paulsboro. My buddy Brian Tortella is here. He's covering King, considering those 2 are good friends. King recently graduated from Paulsboro High School. Of course, Paulsboro had a good run, but they ran into the impossible wall, which was Buna, the Great Wall of China, if you will, who went on to be runner-ups in the Group 1 state tournament, losing to Pecanic. There's a pop-up. That'll go foul. Out towards that little side street there. So here is the 1-2 to Mastaro. That one is going to be a nice curveball, but it misses. 2-2. Line drive past Devaney into left, a base hit. And Mastaro is the first base runner for post 72. So here is Damon Sirianni. Luke Haddad, the senior left-hander, had a 2.22 ERA in his swan song campaign, 50 strikeouts in 41 innings, 13 earned runs, and 8 hit batters. He pitched 6 2/3 in a 4-3 loss to Camden Catholic on April 27th, and had a couple of other good performances as well. Excuse me, that was from 2022. My apologies. Had the wrong tab up. Let's throw to first. Although he threw a lot more longevity in 2023 at 6 1/3 on opening day versus Williamstown, threw 5 1/3 each versus Gloucester Catholic and GCIT, had 6 innings versus Kingsway, 5 2/3 versus Pennsville. In 3 of his starts in 2023, threw over 100 pitches, even got to 115 versus Kingsway on May 10th. Here's the pitch to Sirianni. Runner goes. Here comes the throw down from his knees, and it's going to be high and a stolen base for Mastaro. And that's going to put a runner in scoring position for Brooklawn. Good effort there from Wallace behind the plate to, hop off his knees quickly, but just not able to get it in time. Throw was a little high, so that one is away. On deck for Brooklawn 72, although this may as well be Gloucester Catholic's team, considering 7 out of their 9 hitters are members of the Rams baseball club, so this is like a home game for them. But at the same time, though, you've got Sperunta of GCIT on deck, and there's a strike. Runner on second for Brooklawn. They're going to try to break the stalemate here early. That one misses. And that's going to be ball 4. So occupying that empty spot at first base is going to bring up Nick Sperunta with 2 on and 1 out, as Brooklawn is going to try to get the first hurrah here in this American Legion matchup. Beautiful Monday night, though. It was hot earlier in the day, but now that things have kind of calmed down a bit, it's a little bit fairer. 81 degrees here in Brooklawn, with wind blowing southeast, which is blowing in from right field at 12 miles per hour. Pretty fair humidity. Although the next week is going to be rain, and more rain, so we're going to be inside for a while. As here is a rocket off the bat and into center field, going back, and it is over the head. This one's going to bring in 2 runs, and it's going to be a 2-run double off the bat of Spirunta, and it's 2-0 Brooklawn. See, that is a double in some ballparks. In some places, that is a home run, but because of the fact that there's no fence out here, there's really no way of hitting a home run unless you have some juice in you or a really balanced breakfast. So that's going to put a runner on second after the double by Spirunta and bringing up Sal Cerciani here of Sal Cercini, excuse me, of Gloucester Catholic. First pitch from Haddad. It's going to be low. 1-0. Fouled back. 1-1. There's a strike. It's 1-2. Doug King of Paulsboro is on deck. That one goes to the backstop. Going the third is going to be Spirunta. And he is in there standing up. So a 2-2 count. I think the main difference between these two teams, just looking at their lineup cards, is that Post 521 has 3 subs listed on their roster: Pinder, Dillard, and Bauer. And then for the Brooklawn Post 72, they've got 3, 6, 8 players on their bench. 2 from Rancocas Valley, and then 1 from Eastern Regional, which is Jack Bauer. But a runner on third. Brooklawn looking to pad the lead early. They've already gotten 2 runs on the RBI double that would have been a home run in many other places from Nick Spirunta. But again, King on deck for Post 72. He'll be followed by Tyler Bunting, the DH for the Rams of Gloucester Catholic. Here's the pitch from Haddad, is a foul ball again. Haddad's really showing off that fastball though. He's got incredible zip to that. And it's I would say 2 or 3 times as effective, especially for college scouts, because left-handers are specialists. They're, you know, I was a lefty in Little League, you know, and I always hit lefty and everything like that. So, you know, it's definitely a specialty and a rarity. But here's a fly ball to right that's going to be picked up. The cutoff is dropped, and holding at third is going to be Spirunta. Probably a smart move there. And now there's going to be 2 outs for Doug King as Cercini flies out to right. Taken in there by Ruffino, making the play. 2-0 Brooklawn Post 72 over Washington Township Post 521. Here from Joe Barth Field, home of Gloucester Catholic. Here is the first pitch from Haddad.
There's a line drive out towards second base, and it skips in the right field, and it's going to get past Ruffino. Now that's going to bring in Sperunta. Going to second base is going to be Dougie King, and it's going to be an RBI double or whatever you want to call that. I think I'm going to score that as a single E9. I don't know, but it's going to make it 3-0 Brooklawn. You remember, anything I put down on my scorebook is not official, so it could sway depending on who's putting in the official tallies, but I'm going to score that as a single E9 because that was absolutely rocketed out to Nace at second base, so you can't really blame him too much for not getting that, but Ruffino probably should have had that ground ball. So here is the lefty, Tyler Bunting of Gloucester Catholic, as he takes a breaking ball down and away, 1-0. Breaking ball misses in, 2-0. I mean, Haddad he doesn't seem to have the greatest location this evening, and I don't know if that's, I mean, it's obviously not a usual thing considering his 2.22 ERA from his senior year, but it seems like Brooklawn's just been hitting all over him, really, in the first inning. But they always say first inning jitters are the worst thing that can happen to a pitcher, and usually by the time you get to second or third, they settle in and are a little more accustomed to the hitters that they're facing, especially the first time around the order. That can be the toughest time, and then you can be lights out from there on out. That one misses. Should be 3-1. Jack Mastaro of GC is on deck. Bud with 2 outs. Could be the last batter of the inning. Here's the pitch from Haddad. And there's a strike. They're going to throw back to second base, and they got him. They caught Brooklawn napping, and what an eventful way to end the inning. So Bunting is going to have to bat again, starting all over from a full count. We go to the top of the second. Brooklawn pounces early, but ends the inning in an unorthodox fashion. It is 3-0 Brooklawn.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
We're back here in the top of the second inning as Brooklawn leads early. As there's a strike. 0-1 to Stephen Devaney of Pittman High School, who picked up his 100th career hit in a game that we actually broadcasted versus Maple Shade back on May 10th. As there is another strike. Devaney was one of the top hitters in South Jersey in terms of getting hits. He had 46 in his junior year, was one of the top 5 in South Jersey behind Chris Ruggieri of Gloucester, who had 48. Also got to 100 in his senior years. Here's a ground ball out to third, picked up, throw over to first, and Devaney is retired, one away.
So here's Wallace, the catcher. With one down here in the top of the second. Wallace of Cumberland County College. That one's going to be 1-0. One. 1-1 from Brassberger. That one misses. 2-1. There's a strike. Nace, the second baseman, on deck for post 521. Here's a pop-up foul over towards the Carnival. And it's out of play. Brassberger kicks and deals again. And here's a fly ball out towards straightaway right center, going over. And making the play out there is going to be Cersini. There is 2 down. This will bring up Nace. There's Brian Tortella out there, hanging out, watching Dougie King, one of his good buddies on the Paulsboro team. Check swing, and he'll be called as such. It's 0-1. By the way, we are looking for travel tournaments, American Legion games, really anything we can get our hands on in the months of July and August, as the summer can get pretty boring without baseball or any other sport for that matter. So here's a ground ball out towards short. It's going to be picked up, and he's not going to have a play. So that'll be an E6. As Sparunta got a glove on it, but couldn't get the ball out of his hand. And that's going to be a base runner here for post 521. So here is back at the top of the order. Hold on. It's going to be Jack Bauer actually hitting. Excuse me now. My apologies there. This is Nace. Ruffino is on first base. I skipped the batter. Not only so much you can do in this industry, but yeah, we are looking for gigs for July and August. As we said, the 10 weeks of summer vacation can get a little boring without us doing a little broadcasting. So if you know of anybody who would like our services, we'll give you our base rates and basically anything we can, any information that we can give you so that we can cover your team and your games. So send me an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That is also, you can also find that email in the description of this YouTube video so that you can contact us and we can get your summer ball games covered, or whatever sport it may be. There's a foul ball. Camascoli is going to be on deck for post 521. It's 3-0 Brooklawn here in the top of the second inning. It looked like they had an easy inning, but that's changed after the E6, and that is going to be a hit-by-pitch to Nace, and now Camascoli will bat, trying to get a couple RBIs and bring the pendulum of the game swinging in the other direction. As with 2 outs, there's going to be 2 on here.
Beautiful evening here in Brooklawn at the crossroads of Kings Highway, and I believe that's Route 130 down there. One of the busier roads in South Jersey. Not one of my favorites to drive on, but it's a swing and a miss 0-1 by Camascoli. Yeah, I think it goes without saying that a lot of these places have, rich histories and, oh, here we go, throw back to second base. He is safe. Ruffino gets back in. But, a lot of these places in South Jersey maybe don't have a lot of name brand notoriety, but, they've got the rich history. They've got the community behind them. I mean, if you've ever seen this place sold out for a Gloucester Catholic game, you would think that they're a minor league baseball team with how incredibly good they play and, the fundamental baseball that they play, because they are taught to not swing for the fences at home because you can't. Having these fans packed wall to wall, especially for a playoff game for Gloucester Catholic, it's really a great sight to see. And of course, I was supposed to cover the Ranny versus Gloucester Catholic game for the non-public B sectional final. And SATs ran long, and obviously, still very apologetic about that, but it's kind of the way the game works, Although I don't regret taking the SATs, I do regret scheduling a broadcast that I didn't know was going to be cut short. So that one's down and away, as with 2 on for Washington Township, they're going to try to break the scoreboard here and get themselves on the board here on the top of the second inning. Here's the pitch from Brassberger. It's going to be fouled off towards the right side and onto whatever street that is. I think that's Browning Road back there. I don't know what it is. Still 2-strike count. 2 on, 2 out. After a quick start to the inning, here comes the throw back to second base. Couldn't get Ruffino. Fly ball out to right, backtracking, and going under it to make the catch will be Cersini to retire the side. So Washington Township threatens with 2 runners on, but after a long at-bat, the inning ends without a change in our scorecards. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-0 Brooklawn Post 72. We'll be right back. Here in the bottom of the second inning, Brooklawn leads 3-0 over Washington Township post 521. As we've got ourselves a good one, Washington Township had 2 runners on in the top half of the second, but could not score. Took advantage of a single and an E6. Here's the first pitch from Haddad, and that one misses downstairs. To Tyler Bunting, who had the first inning end prematurely after a pickoff throw. So even though he worked the count full, the at-bat restarts, and there's a line shot into right, a base hit. Rufino picks it up, and a leadoff single for Tyler Bunting, who technically had his second plate appearance of the day, but just in different capacities. As here is coming now for the Brooklawn Post 72, Jack Starr. That one's a ball, 1-0. Looks pretty strike-worthy to me, but I don't make the calls. That one is ripped out to left, going back on it, and making the play out there is going to be Camastoli for the first down. So here's Flash now, coming up here for Gloucester Catholic. I keep saying Gloucester Catholic. I mean, this basically is a glorified, or maybe a little watered down Gloucester Catholic team, considering that 7 of their 9 starters are Gloucester Catholic players, with 2 exceptions being Doug King of Paulsboro, and then, you know, the GCIT shortstop as well. But now going down to second, here comes a quick throw, and it is not in time. Couldn't get the throw down, and Bunting steals second base here. That's a foul ball. That one misses. Runner on second here for Brooklawn in the bottom of the second. Haddad getting ready to deal here to Flash Krasuski. As here's a ground ball out towards short, picked up, throw to first is in time. Bunting holds it second, and there's one down. Excuse me, 2 down. For Joey Bogart, back to the top of the order for Gloucester Catholics, Brooklawn Post 72. That one is a strike, going 1-2 Bogart. As RJ Mastaro for Brooklawn 72 is going to be up next if the inning continues here with 2 down and a runner on second. For the Brookers, interesting team name. I don't know where that came from, but I guess it's just a play on words of Brooklawn. But well, I mean, remember the Brooklyn Dodgers, you know. The reason why the Los Angeles Dodgers are called the Dodgers is because back in the 1930s, when streetcars and trolleys were all the rage in New York City, there was this group of people called the Dodgers that were known for being able to dodge streetcars and trolleys and, you know, street trolleys, and be able to be quick and nimble and get out of the way. And when the Dodgers moved to LA in the 1950s, that name stuck with them. So it's the same thing with the Lakers as well. Los Angeles Lakers originally came from Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, as their license plates proudly proclaim. But when they moved to LA, which is a place that doesn't have a lot of water, neither does the rest of the state of California, they were still known as the Lakers. So the relocation definitely didn't make a whole lot of sense at the beginning, but as generations moved on, that story kind of faded and people didn't really know what the Lakers were all about. But it was originally from the land of 10,000 lakes. If you actually look at a Minnesota license plate, it says at the bottom, land of 10,000 lakes, which is always interesting to me, as there's a strike to Bogart. 2-2. Runner on second, Tyler Bunning. That one's outside. And it's going to be ball 4. So Bogart walks, and this will bring up RJ Mastaro here. I mean, you consider that the the troubled history of the A's franchise, starting out in Philadelphia back when Philly had 2 baseball teams. You had the Philadelphia A's, and then they moved to Kansas City in 1964, became the Kansas City A's, and then moved to Oakland maybe a decade later, and then they became the Oakland A's. And if they're going to move to Las Vegas, it's going to be the 4th city that they've been in. They were on the East Coast, they were out west, and now they're slowly rummaging their way back east again. But here's Mastaro, as there's a strike. But the thing is about that team name is that it's so generic that the athletics really could be used anywhere. You know, think about in the NBA, when the Seattle Supersonics relocated to Oklahoma City. They didn't become the Oklahoma City Sonics, they became the Thunder. But that's more of a bygone era when a team relocates, you know, to change their name. I think it's more of like a 40, 60, 30, 70 thing where, by the way, count as 0-2 to Mastaro, where if a team relocates, they have a better chance of keeping their current name, whether it makes sense to the new city that they're in or not, than just keeping it. The San Diego Chargers became the Los Angeles Chargers. They didn't change anything. Same thing with the Las Vegas Raiders. St. Louis Rams becoming the LA Rams, although they were in LA to start, but they didn't change their name. Oh, right. You're right. My producer pointed out the Washington Nationals. And that's another thing where they had to change the name because it didn't make sense. As here's a line shot to deep left field, and it is over the head of everybody. It's going to go out there and left towards Camastoli. Bunning scores. Scoring is Bogart, and a 2 RBI double for RJ Mastaro. A triple. I didn't even see him break for third. But that's kind of that's the kind of normality that you see in these deep ballparks with no outfield fence. That's going to make it 5-0 in favor of Post 72. So here is now going to be Damon Sirianni, as there is a ball. 1-0. But yeah, with Montreal and the Expos were named after the 1886 World's Fair, and it was originally called the World Expo, but if you remember, the 1900 World Expo was where the Eiffel Tower was first introduced. So it's kind of lost its shine in today's generation, but the World's Fair and the World Expo used to be like the biggest conventions for showing off the future of the world, and that's where the Expos came from, because Montreal had once hosted the World Expo, wanted to kind of show themselves for being worldly. But when they moved to Washington, D.C. in 2005, didn't really make sense, because D.C. had A, never hosted an expo, and B, didn't really make sense considering the language barrier, between French and English. So they changed it to the national to have a little bit more generic national pride, moving a team from Quebec to Americas. There's a foul ball. That one is headed out towards the apartment buildings out on the road to our left down the first baseline. But it's 5-0 Brooklawn. Luke Haddad having a bit of a sluggish start here, representing the Minutemen. But with 2 outs, we'll see if they can salvage at least a little bit here. And that's going to be a walk, so the game continues to unravel a little bit here, as that's going to put runners on first and third. And we're going to have a pinch runner here. I have no idea if American Legion Baseball has a run rule, or, like high school does, but if it doesn't, we might be here for a long time if the game continues to unravel, if this game continues to be as it is. But Washington Township, they're not that bad of a team, just Brooklawn's been hitting all over them. Now running down to second base and getting in there uncontested will be Sirianni, as it's 1-0. As here is Nick Speranto. Had a 2-run double in the bottom of the first inning. Again, 5-0 Brooklawn. Here's a pop-up foul. It's going to be 1-1. Look out to the cars on the side of the road. Here's the 1-1 to Speranto. That one misses high and goes to the backstop. Going to try to get a free run, and there's nobody covering the plate. Oh my goodness. Wallace threw home, and there was no pitcher covering. So tough deal there, as it's now 6-0 Brooklawn here in the second inning. Game unraveling here early. That one's a ball. Wow. Nobody on the post 521 team seemed to like that, but seemed a little off to me, but I don't know. There's the strike. That is a rocket out to deep left field, and it is that gone? Yeah, that's going to be a home run. I was talking about how we weren't going to see a homer in this stadium, but I was wrong. They called it a 2-run shot, and Nick Speranto continues to be on a tear. He's got 4 ribbies in the first 2 innings, and it is going to be 8-0 Brooklawn, as Washington Township just continues to unravel here. As here is Sal Cersini.
right fielder, as we do have an arm, Pinder, warming up in the pen. Will Pinder of Glassboro High School warming up in the pen. As a lot of hard hits on those bats this evening, as it's 6:48 p.m. here in the bottom of the second inning. Well, I really feel bad for anybody in that outfield, especially if the ball goes over their head and it bounces. The grass is going to make them run and run again. Yeah, it's a hard deal, but I mean, I was talking with Bill Gore a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, well, you guys are 20-time state champions, and how in the world do you guys not have an outfield fence? And what he basically told me was that it's a deal of priorities between the baseball and the softball team, and that the school district decides who gets the fence for what purpose, and that the baseball team kind of got the short end of the stick. But I mean, I think that even with a fence that kind of ends a little bit to our right and then goes straight across center field and then joins out and left, this is still going to be a fairly favorable pitcher's park, I think. I had never considered Audubon, my home stadium, to be a pitcher's park until I started visiting other stadiums in South Jersey and seeing, like, Alcyon Park is 310 to left, 310 to right, and then 350 to center. Audubon, in its deepest part, is 382, I'm pretty sure. And it's on an incline, almost like Towles Hill in Houston. So, really, a lot of these parks are more hitter-friendly, as here's a fly ball out to shallow right center. And the inning is over, but Brooklawn tags on 5 more, including a 2-run homer off the bat of Nick Speranto. We go to the top of the third, 8-0 Brooklawn. Here in the top of the third inning, Brooklawn post 72 leads Washington Township post 521 by a great score of 8-0. But it's going to be R.J. Mastaro, the pitcher for post 72, the Brookers. As again, Will Pinder of Glassboro warming up in the pen for Washington Township. But R.J. Mastaro, the senior, pitched just 8 pitches in 2023, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. And the first pitch here is going to be a strike, 0-1. And ironically enough, his one appearance was in a 13-9 win over Washington Township on May 16th in 13-9 in favor of Gloucester Catholic over the Minutemen. Here's a ground ball right back to the mound. Can't get any simpler than that. And that is going to be the first out as corner is retired. And this is going to bring up Reisel with Kyle Crozier on deck for Washington Township. First pitch is a ball upstairs. 1-0 to Reisel. That one misses. Reisel swings and misses. We're on a nice Monday evening here in Brooklawn. 8-0 Brookers as there's a strike. Gonna be a 2-strike count here to Reisel. That one misses. Three and two. Oh, that he swung at a pitch in the dirt, but he might get to first. The throw is dropped. Got dropped at first base, and Reisel's going to get in there on what I presume would be scored as a drop third strike. I mean, I don't know who you can fault there, the catcher or the first baseman, but it seemed like a relatively routine throw to first. Didn't seem too far off the line, so I think some would score that an E3. Some would call that a just a regular old drop third strike, but that puts a runner on first here with one down for Kyle Crozier here. He was down on strikes looking his first time. Outside. That one misses. Reisel holds it first. Folks, make sure we excuse me. Sorry, I already messed up my own advertisement. Make sure you tune in on Friday, August 25th, as DWB kicks off its 2023 football season with action between the Cherry Hill East Cougars and the Triton Mustangs on Dan Wilkins broadcasting from Triton Regional High School, 6 p.m. start time. Hope you can make it. I know it's far away from today, but obviously I'm very excited about the football season and the fact that we'll be doing our first games this fall. And it's a big step for me, really, because, you know, I've only really done football or baseball and soccer before for high school, and, you know, kind of branching out into a new sport is going to be a big step for me. And we've got some stuff working out with other schools. It's going to be a 2-1 count to Crozier, but yeah, excited about the opportunity to branch out into high school football.
in our Friday Night Lights series. Have a couple other games wrapped up as well, but not going to publicly announce them yet. As here's a fly ball right center field. It's going to drop in front of Cersini. Holding it third will be Mr. Reisel. And a base hit here with one down for Kyle Crozier will bring up Highlands' Robert Carfagno. Ball one. There's a strike. Throw over to third. Nothing going on. Here's the pitch. This is down and away. 2-1. Carfagno. Devaney on deck for post 521. That one is downstairs and getting into second base sliding. It's going to be Crozier on the stolen base. So a 3-1 count to Carfagno as a walk here could load the bases for Devaney. Cut into that deficit a little bit, which would be nice for Washington Township to be able to have their heads high a little bit, as that's going to be ball four. So Stephen Devaney will bat here with the bases loaded and one down. It's going to be a mound visit here with Mastaro.
Or 16?
What?
15 or 16 you?
Oh no, these are 18, 19.
What?
18, 19.
18, 19? Like you have a point.
So here is Devaney with the bases loaded. And a little floater out towards right. That is going to drop for an RBI single. Devaney puts Washington Township on the board, and it is 8-1. So Stephen Devaney breaks the stalemate and puts post 521 on the board.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you.
So now here is Wallace. That one misses. Ball in the dirt. Want to know. Got a lot of motorbikes around this evening. There's a strike, 1-1. Here's a fly ball, floater out towards second. It's going to drop, and that's going to move everybody up as well. And it's now 8-2 as Wallace drives in a run. I told you Washington Township was going to get back in the game sooner rather than later. Devaney's now going to be on second base, and moving over to third is going to be Carfagno, as it is now 8-2. Bringing up Ruffino here in representing Washington Township. So Joe Ruffino here versus RJ Mastaro. Class of 2023 as he takes one for a strike, 0-1. Ruffino batted .217 in his senior season. Had 2 homers last year in 2022, but was 13 for 60. And there's a ground ball. That's gonna get trapped in the infield, and everybody's gonna be safe again. So another RBI off the bat of Ruffino, and Washington Township continues to dig into the deficit. It's 8-3. So here's Nace. Here's Ryan Nace of PVI. That one misses low. Outside. Should be 2-1. That's a pop-up foul, and it's going to be 3-2? 2-2, sorry. Lost count a little bit, got ahead of myself. See, there's no scoreboard around here, so you kind of have to count in your own head, but that one is inside. Now it's 3-2. Again, just got one pitch ahead of myself, but Mastaro in a jam here, already allowing 3 runs here in the top of the third, as the bottom of the order looks to do the heavy lifting for post 521. Brooklawn got 3 runs in the bottom of the first. They put up 5 in the second. And here's a ground ball out towards first. This could... Oh, no way! No way! It's 8-4. Wow, a lack of hustle at first base from Jack Mastaro allows a run to score. And Brooklawn kind of coming apart at the seams here as Washington Township has plated 4 with just 1 out as we go back to the top of the order for Camascoli. Imagine if they can erase this deficit like a magic marker, you know, all in the top of the third. Would really be a great feat here. As that one is a strike, 0-1. I remember I went to a Phillies game back in September of 2021, and Cubs went up 7-0 in the third inning. They scored 7 runs in the top half of the third, and then the Phillies came back in the bottom of the fourth, looked like they were dead in the water just as it began, and they took the lead and eventually won that game 18-7. Or 18-8 rather. There's a floater out towards second. They got the tag, so they got the second out, but another run is going to score as Wallace comes in on the fielder's choice, and it's 8-5. So a fielder's choice off the bat of Dillard, excuse me. And now here is corner. So Camascoli is out. I wonder if he might be pitching soon, but we already had Will Pinder of Glassboro warming up, so I don't know what the discrepancy could be for post 521, but the Minutemen wasting no time, making their comeback known as it's 8-5. That's a foul ball on the bunt by corner, and it's 0-1.
But a lot of people also wonder, you know, like Washington Township's not the only school to be called the Minutemen. They're the only one in New Jersey, but University of Massachusetts, which is a little more relevant to the place. But here comes a throw down to second base, and getting in there uncontested will be Dillard, or excuse me, Camascoli. So Camascoli was hitting the whole time to 7, just looks like a 3. And here's the pitch. There's a line drive, and it is snagged at first to retire the side. And the inning is over, but Washington Township plates 5 runs. They are right back in this ball game. It's 8-5. As Washington Township trails Brooklawn 5-8 after Washington Township got 5 runs home in the top half of the 3rd inning. As now the new pitcher will be Bauer for the Brooklawn Post 72. So we'll take a look here at Bauer's stats here. Running it down for PPI, Mike Bauer. No, we're on YouTube at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. That's where you guys can find us.
Good work, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. So getting it started here in the bottom of the 3rd as looks like it's going to be Tyler Bunning hitting it off. Or no, excuse me, that is Doug King as there's a strike. 1-1. Mike Bauer, the junior right-hander with a 4.30 ERA for Paul Sixth as, an awkward swing, and he fouls it back. 1-2. 14 2/3 innings, 9 earned runs, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts. Appeared in several games this year, including versus Audubon, Bishop Eustis, Camden, Pittman, Shawnee, Sterling, Camden Catholic, Cherokee, Seneca, Bishop Eustis again, and then St. Joe's of Metuchen. There's a line shot, foul. Off the padded signs, and it's still going to be 1-2. 226 really did have a different season this year. Yeah, you know, I think after Gary Sarno left for Triton, I think there was a lot of uncertainty in the water about how PBI would fare, but a 17-9 record under DM Phillips really was a nice start. And, you know, even though they lost to Audubon and Bishop Eustace to start the year out 2-2, they really made themselves known, you know, losing an admirable 1-0 to Gloucester Catholic, as that's going to be the first out, as King down on strikes, as Tyler Bunning, the DH, will now bat. PVI beat Immaculata in the first round of the South Jersey non-public A playoff, but then lost 8-4 to St. Joe's of Metuchen. But I think, especially in the non-public, you know, range, I think a lot of people thought St. Augustine was going to be, you know, another threatening force, but we didn't really see that this year. You know, after winning the last straight 6 sectional titles, I think this year was a really big shift for St. Augustine, and that's kind of where the change really took place in those playoffs, especially for the parochial schools. I don't follow, I mean, I'll be completely upfront, black and white, but, you know, I don't follow the parochial schools as much as the public schools, but, you know, I think it's more of a matter of, because I'm a kid that's always been used to public school sports, you know, never attended a private school, never attended any of those academies, you know, I think I kind of have a bit of a bias towards public schools, because with parochial schools, I see it as kind of a pay-to-win kind of thing. It's not knocking any of the organizations that, you know, really do chase out the best talent, but like with public schools, unless it's a choice school or, you know, like a tuition-based school where a lot of people are coming in from different towns, as that's going to be inside to Bunning. I think what's important is that, you know, the teams that have these parochial schools, that have these players that are coming in and they're paying to be a part of the part of the team, you know, I feel like it's kind of different. Like with Audubon, as there's a swing of this, Bunning down on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Mike Bauer, and there's 2 down. Bringing up Jack Mastaro, the first baseman. But, you know, I think it's important to note that, you know, when you're looking at parochial schools, I mean, you've got to pay a lot of money to be a part of a parochial school. I've seen some private schools be like $30,000 for tuition, and it's a bit high, but I also don't attend parochial schools, so it's, you know, I can't really speak too much on it, but yeah, it's it really depends on the school that you go to, but yeah, that one's up and in from Bauer. But I do find it interesting, though, like with Audubon, for example, my hometown team, everybody on that team is either from Audubon or the Mount Ephraim area, because Mount Ephraim has a sharing sending agreement with Audubon Public Schools. But, you know, you look at these Catholic schools, these academies, you've got people from all over the place, even Camden High, with some of their controversies over their basketball team, and, you know, some of the players coming from North Jersey, not even having anyone that lives in Camden that they could have piggybacked off of. But, you know, those controversies that are just kind of important for the integrity of high school sports and what that's all about. That's going to be a strike, as Mastaro was about to flip his bat towards first. Couldn't hang on to it, though. .16 p.m. here in the bottom of the third. It is 8-5 in favor of Brooklawn post 72 over Washington Township post 521. That's a foul ball over towards the dugout of the visitors. Here's the pitch. Slam, miss. And Mike Bauer with 3 strikeouts, making quick work of the Brooklawn Brookers. As we go to the top of the fourth, Washington Township, they're back into the swing of things. We'll see if they can carry that momentum into the fourth. It's 8-5.
Here in the top of the fourth inning, it's time for DWB Trivia Time as Brooklawn leads Washington Township post 521 by a score of 8-5. Today's DWB Trivia Time question is, when was the last time the Phillies had the first overall pick in the MLB draft? Is it A, 2016, B, 1997, C, 2002, or D, 1988? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. First pitch to Washington Township is outside from Mastaro, as it is 1-0. Ambulance going by. That one is another miss. It's 2-0. Another miss. It'll be 3, 4, and 5. Riesel, Crozier, and Carfagno. And that one is a ball 4. So quick walk. 4-pitch walk to Riesel as this brings up Crozier. Tight zone, really. I mean, I thought I saw a couple strikes there too, but you never know. By the way, apologies, new pitcher for the Brooklawn Post 72 is Joe Dinran of Rancocas Valley Regional. They made it all the way to the Group 4 sectional final for South Jersey. They lost to Eastern Regional, as there's a strike. That one goes back, and it is going to get to second base here with Riesel. A 2-1 count. 8-5 in favor of Brooklawn, as Washington Township looks to claw back here in the middle innings. Deep right, going back. Cersini can't get there. He's going to barehand it, coming around, and Riesel's going to score. Crozier's going to stop at second. It's an RBI double, and Washington Township makes it a 2-run game, 8-6. How about it? Washington Township looked dead in the water. I mean, Brooklawn got off to such an early start, and then just an insane comeback here. Something that I really haven't seen since Bishop Eustace versus Kingsway in the Ralph Shaw tournament. Here is Robert Carfagno of Highland Regional, the Group 3 school in Blackwood, about 15 minutes south of here. I covered a game for them back in April versus the Timber Creek Chargers. So like we were saying, by the way, count as 1-0. Like it makes more sense for the University of Massachusetts to have the Minutemen, because they were in, you know, the Boston area and the Massachusetts area, American Revolution. But basically, I would like to know why. I guess because it's Washington Township, because named after George Washington. But what I found to be very interesting was that the term Minutemen, which is what Washington Township's sports teams are named after, the reason why they're called Minutemen was because back in 1774, they were a specialized group of non-professional soldiers who were trained to be ready in a minute's notice to kind of warn about the British coming to locals. Think of like Paul Revere on his horse. That's where the Minutemen term comes from. And because it's Washington Township, you know, named after George Washington, that's where you see it. But a 2-2 count. I mean, you see a lot of places named after presidents. Illinois, their license plates, Illinois' license plates say Land of Lincoln.
There's a lot of places, you know, like there's a Jefferson High School in New Jersey. There used to be a Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden, but they renamed that recently to Camden East Side.
Isn't there a Roosevelt High School too?
Believe there is. There's trying to think here.
I think it's up north.
There's a lot of Monroes. There's Monroe, New Jersey. There's Madison, New Jersey. Although no real love for John Adams, our second president. Yeah, not really a whole lot of Adams in
Lincoln Academy up north.
yeah, Lincoln Academy. A lot of things named after presidents, but here is Devaney.
Even bridges.
Yeah.
Isn't there
Ben Franklin, or he's not a president.
Washington tunnel, isn't
No, it's the Lincoln Tunnel in New York. Somebody take away my history. Somebody take away my history badge. Here's Stephen Devaney. 0-1 count to Stephen.
Actually, that's like the one most common misconception is that Ben
People think, yeah, a lot of uneducated people think Ben Franklin was a president, but, well, I've said that as a Freudian slip, but can't get much worse than that, you know. Oh, I've said some real hoots on the broadcasts. Holding at second base will be Crozier, but, well, like we said before, I remember one time, I think it was an Audubon game that we were covering. It was a blowout. It was like 15-0 and something like that. And there was a red cardinal that landed on top of the fence, and I said, "Oh look, it's a blue jay." For a red bird, as there's a base hit in the center field. Stephen Devaney is going to have a base hit here. He's 2 for 2, and getting over to third is going to be Crozier, as runners are going to be on the corners for Washington Township post 521. I don't know, but I know Jason Stockton is colorblind. He's got a red-green deficiency. Or so he says, but I don't think he's watching the broadcast. Of course, Washington Township does have an interesting relationship with Audubon, considering that the freshman lefty, Jason Stockton, did no-hit the Minutemen back in April of 2022, one of the first no-hitters that I ever covered, that I ever broadcast. But there is a swing and a miss to Wallace, and it's 0-1. So runners on the corners. Feels like I'm getting more just unhinged, even though this game's getting closer and closer. It's 8-6. A very valiant effort by Washington Township to be able to, come back in such a strong form. I don't know if this is common in Legion games for there to be such high-scoring games, but I would imagine not. No, this is very obviously an anomaly.
I thought we were in a fifth line.
And again, just in the top of the fourth, a high-scoring game. Wouldn't be surprised if we see double digits for both teams by the end of the night. That one goes high. Devaney steals second and hangs on to the bag. So that's going to put runners on second and third, as Wallace could tie the game with something as simple as a floater, but the entire post 72 outfield is getting really shallow here. Remember, this game can only last as long as the sun will let it. There's no lights here at Joe Barth. No temporary lights, no permanent lights, probably because of all the homes around. That one's upstairs, 2-2 to Wallace. So this game will probably not go a full 7 innings. Will probably just be as long as the umpires can keep the game going. I remember when I did Little League games for Audubon a couple of years ago, as here's a fly ball out to shallow left. And it's taken in at short.
We got another hour of summer, so we should.
True, I mean, we are nearing the summer equinox. I think the summer equinox is 8:32, yeah. And even after that, you've got probably another 15 minutes where you can see. Yeah, so But I remember back when I did the Little League public address for Audubon back in the day. By the way, here is Joe Ruffino. One of the things that we would always run into is that when there were games in April, you would never get a full 6-inning game in. And remember, Little League plays 6, high school plays 7, and then college at any professional level plays 9. But these guys were playing 6-inning games, and one of the things is that back in April, the games wouldn't start until 5:45 p.m. because that's when everybody got out of work, you know? The kids couldn't drive themselves to the game. They're 10, 12 years old. So the games would always end early because of the fact that there was always a sunlight issue, and then by the time you got to May, it usually was a little better if the game ran quick, and then by the time the playoff came around in June, it was more of an easy way of going about it. But the way the Audubon Little League ran with their double elimination, I always thought was interesting, because I was always taught in those kind of bracket styles that if you lose once, you're done. But because there's only 4 or 5 teams that you got to deal with, you kind of have to stretch out the playoffs a little bit and, you know, get some more opportunities. So that's why they made a double elimination a couple of years back. But here's a ground ball out to short, picked up, throw to first is in time, and Washington Township gets another run on the board. They were pushing it along pretty good there, but just weren't able to tie up the game. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It is 8-6 Brooklawn, post 72. We'll be right back. Last time the Phillies had the #1 draft pick in the MLB draft. The answers or the options are A, 2016, B, 1997, C, 2002, or D, 1988. And the correct answer is A, 2016. That was when the Phillies last had the draft pick. They were 63-99 in 2015. As here's a bunt out towards third. Devaney rushing to make the play, and he got him. Stephen Devaney being alert over at third base, getting the hot corner job done beautifully, and he makes the play for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and this is going to bring up, looks like back at the top of the order for Bogart, and it will. Oh. 8-6
Brooklawn over Washington Township here in American Legion Baseball. You're watching coverage here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's game, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We're also looking for gigs for baseball or any other sport for July and August. Keep in mind that the fall season unofficially starts on August 25th with our coverage of Cherry Hill East versus Triton football. But anything before then, we'll be happy to cover. We'll give you our rates and we'll give you what we have to offer as we try to get some more gigs for players and fans and coaches alike in the summer of 2023. There is a strike.
Are you doing showcase games the whole year?
What do you mean?
For all the sports this year?
Well, it depends on what we're doing. I think that, as we go along with the soccer season, as that one is away, I think one of the main things is that, we're going to reach out to some soccer coaches. We're going to see if we can get some games going. But obviously, I think one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking at for feature games is that, especially the basketball and the wrestling market, we want to try to shift to some indoor events this winter. We'll be looking at that and seeing if we can schedule some games.
Trying to do something football. I know a big game around here is Gloucester Catholic and Gloucester High on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's pretty big Thanksgiving tradition between Gloucester City and Gloucester Catholic, but would have to reach out to those respective coaches about it. As that is a walk to Joey Bogart, as this is going to bring up R.J. Mastaro, who was the center fielder, then was the pitcher, and now is back to being the center fielder again. So,
On the baseball topic,
what did you say?
Now that you brought up that he had positions, I saw there was a player that played 9 positions in 9 innings.
Who was it? Was it recent?
I'm not. I think it was. He played every single position, including catcher and pitcher.
Was it Austin Roman? Well, that's only happened a couple of times. Oh, wow, look at this. This is going to be a stolen base for Bogart. They threw behind the runner. Usually that's not advised, but they were able to pull it off. And Bogart gets to second base. So tough play there. As, by the way, new pitcher is going to be Will Pinder of Glassboro. Pinder had a 3.08 average in his senior year. It was Austin Romine. That was from Andrew Romine. Yes, that was. I don't know. It had to be. It was Andrew Romine. It was one of the brothers, but Pinder had a 4.64 ERA in his senior year with Glassboro, 25 2/3 innings, 42 strikeouts, 17 earned runs, and it was Andrew Romine back in 2017. Yeah, that was kind of a tradition that some teams did at like the last game of the season, as there's a strike, because the Tigers were one of the worst teams in baseball. They weren't really going anywhere, but because Andrew Romine is such a versatile player, they had him play all 9 positions in that game, kind of to cross something off the bucket list, because he's like a super utility player. He can really play anywhere.
He pitched pretty good too, from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, but also 2017 was back when there were less position player pitchers in big league baseball, and I think that problem has gotten way out of hand in Major League Baseball. Like, like for the Phillies, for example, they were down like 9-0 to the Dodgers the other week, and then they threw in Cody Clemens to pitch an inning. That was not the case 10 years ago. The only time a position player would have pitched was when it was like 15-0 or 20-0, when it was an absolute shell of a game.
Well, isn't Ohtani technically a position?
Well, Ohtani is a different story, but I'm talking about like a guy like Cody Clemens, as there's a base hit in the left off the bat of Mastaro, and this is going to put runners on the corners as Brooklawn is going to look to reclaim their territory here with a base hit, as Damon Suriani is going to bat here with 1 out and 2 on. But what the difference between Ohtani is that he is like a natural pitcher and hitter. He can throw 100 miles per hour and he can hit a ball 450 feet. The difference I'm talking about is guys like Cody Clemens or Garrett Stubbs, that they can pitch, but not very well, and they kind of only throw them out there to
relieve everybody else, and because it's a blowout game, who cares? But I think that it's very weak. I think it's very weak to see this like revolt of position players, you know, almost every single day in Major League Baseball. It used to be a once in a blue moon a position player would throw if the game was out of hand. But the game would have to be so out of hand 10 or 15 years ago for that to be the case. And they just called a balk on Will Pinder, and that's going to bring home a run. And it is 9-6. You don't see that every day, but that's going to move the runners up. So it's going to be 9-6 as Pinder gets called for a balk. And now going down to third for the stolen base. He's going to be in there. So Brooklawn continues to push the envelope a little more here with a stolen base. I'll tell you, this is a long baseball game. It feels odd, maybe because of the field we're at, or I don't know, but this game has been going on for about 2 hours and we're in the bottom of the fourth inning. That one misses. But it's been a high-scoring game. It's been a weird one. I think it could also be because of the venue that we're at being so abstract, if you will. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge field. Like we said, to hit a home run to right center field, you need to hit the ball 459 feet. But that's not even considering the overhang. So because you'd probably have to hit the ball 15 feet in the air, make that maybe 10 extra feet that you'd have to get over. So maybe make that 470 feet. Should be 3-0 here to Suriani, and that one misses. Ball 4. So here is Nick Speranto. Yeah. What do you mean? Like,
See the taller fence with the yellow top right there?
yeah, the taller fence with the yellow top.
If it was there, but it hooked this way at the last second and went over that, would be home run.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's technically can't be fair.
I don't think so, no. 'Cause that's out in deep right center field. There's a lot of weird, jagged edges to this ballpark. I don't know. I mean, they go over the ground rules before the game, the coaches and the umpires. I'm sure the Gloucester Catholic people, they know all of their ground rules. Kickoff throw to first was a little close there.
I think it's helpful these kickoffs actually.
There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Something got disconnected. Don't know how that happened. Well, they're going to intentionally walk here, so the bases will be loaded for Sal Cersini.
Let's take the runner off first too and put him on second.
So here is Cersini. Really just been a weird ball game. I mean, there's been a lot of games that have run. Cersini, no, that was Tyler Bunning for Brooklawn, who had the home run in the bottom of the second inning.
He's not up next.
I don't know. Here's a fly ball hit out to center. It's taken in, and they were going to tag, but the throw, wow, what a throw from center field from Robert Carfagno, showing off that arm in medium center, and that will bring up Doug King here for Paulsboro. What a throw out there in center, really, with 2 down.
Which was for runner on third down, but he definitely.
He would have been hosed. Would have been hosed for sure.
He would have been a rundown at that point.
That's very true. That's very true. Foul. I didn't really see a rundown though. I don't know. Regardless though, this broadcast is brought to you by Paroli's here we go, ground ball out to first, and as soon as I do the ad read, the inning ends. We go to the top of the fifth. Actually, we will do it now before we go to break. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Paroli's Printing and Bantles, Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. If you need graduation, lawn signs and banners, flyers, A-frames, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. And we'll go to break. 9-6 Brooklawn.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Garden State Pet Center, an independently owned full-service pet store on the 200 block of Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, with a specialty in promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents, as there is a bunt fowl. Visit them today at exoticpetsnj.com or visit them 7 days a week at 226 Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. Oh, 1 count here to Racel. Throw back to third. He slipped and he got him. Wow, talk about a clutch moment right there. They were able to catch the Washington Township runners slipping off the bag at third, and they were able to apply to tag.
Probably could have thrown it the second too and got it out.
I don't know if they would have been able to do that. I think that's a little ambitious, but maybe a little over ambitious, but never hurts, no. So here's Rysel. Or excuse me, corner is still up. My apologies.
It just stopped the lead throw though.
Yeah, I mean, really, way to put a halt to the Washington Township, kind of brigade that they had going on. Looked like they were going to be smooth sailing with 2 on and, 2 in scoring position, but then they got that pickoff move over at third, which is quite uncommon to get that pickoff move from third to work, especially from a right-hander, because you can kind of see his mannerisms more than a runner at first can, which is why it's a lot easier to get those runners all out at first, but it's really a mind game, a matter of split seconds. The ground ball out to third, picked up. Throw to first is going to be in time. So corner is retired, and moving over to third will be Camascoli. And here is Rysel. Runner on third here for Washington Township. Ground ball out to first and foul. I mean, really, that ground out there, a huge precursor to what could be to come here. Considering that there's a lot of tension. You never know. I mean, it was 8-0. It was 8-0 at one point in favor of Brooklawn. But you never know. I mean, really, anything's possible down there. I don't know. It was 8-0, then it was 8-5, and then it was 8-6, and it looked like Washington Township could have tied the game, but I think they're losing opportunities here. That one pops out of the glove of Suriani. There's a swing and a miss. Huge pitch there.
Something that's really mature is, how they have those advertising banners on Central Holyfield?
Right.
You put something put on Audubon, like brought to you by the Dan Wilkins Podcasting.
Well, that would set me back at least $1,000. So
Little banner.
for the signs out in the outfield, yeah, that's about $1,000. So yeah, I shot your idea down real quick. I mean, I'm not the financial manager, so that's for good old Donna Wilkins. So Camascoli on third. Corner was retired on the ground out, and 1 strike away from getting out of the jam. That's a foul ball back to the screen. Off the bat of Rysel. It'll be Kyle Crozier on deck if the inning continues. Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh. Well, thank you for the update. That's a swing and a miss. Don't know if it's going to matter, though, considering how much time we'll have left. The side is retired. We go to the bottom of the fifth, 9-6 in favor of Brooklawn.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Top of the sixth inning as Washington Township left a couple runners on and left a couple opportunities unfulfilled as Brooklawn leads 9-6 as we are running out of a little bit of daylight here, but still looking to get it done as Brooklawn is going to get it started in the bottom of, or excuse me, what are we, bottom of the sixth, right? Bottom of the fifth. No, it can't be the bottom of the fifth. There's no way it's the bottom of the sixth. So here is Tyler Bunning. He'll be followed by Jack Mastaro and Flash Krasuski. Line shot to right. That is a foul ball. Just within the white lines.
I'm trying to get out here. I'm tired.
I don't know. I thought it was the bottom of the sixth. I really thought it was the bottom of the
Is it? Maybe I'm off.
Maybe we are off. That one's high and away to Bunning. I think you might have hit a wrong button, honestly. Or maybe I lost count.
I also off.
What?
I can't see that.
That one misses. Okay, it is the bottom of the fifth. I thought I was crazy, but yeah, cricket pitch right there, as we call that in the business.
It's like a woods game. We literally run out of stuff that's.
Oh yeah. Well, we did a game for the viewers watching between Overbrook and Woodstown, and it might have been the slowest baseball game we ever did. It was 3 hours and 8 minutes for a 7-inning game, and there were so many pickoff moves. It was bad. It was very bad. That's the Mr. Softy truck. Well, we haven't even gotten our Buffalo Wild Wings yet, so.
got enough room for Mr. Softy, and then it's like a Polish dinner. Ice cream first, and then and then your chicken. So Bunning walks, and this brings up Jack Mastaro, the first baseman, representing Gloucester Catholic. That one breaks away as the wind gust continues to pick up a little bit. Getting down to second base will be Tyler Bunning. It does not. Well, we do have a light on it, so. Well, as we said, if it gets dark, then they'll call the game. So.
There's no pop lights out in there.
Oh yeah. Use those airplane lights that fly close around, mix things a little bit. You know, the flashing lights.
You get like a Batman light one of those. Each building around the thing has a light installed in it.
There you go. Just a little bit of illumination. Swinging a foul ball.
Realistically, they could put a light on top.
Yeah, like the street lights.
Really?
I don't know if that would be enough to light the whole field, though. You know, you'd have a lot of dark spots. That one misses. Warming up in the bullpen is going to be 21. Bauer's going to be warming up again. Bauer. Here's the pitch from Will Pinder. Strike one. 2-2, excuse me. That's a long night. First full week of summer out of 10 weeks.
Am I wrong? Is the guy get out last night or
Well, no, it is 2-2, and the pitch is going to be... Excuse me, that was ball four. We are all out of sync. So, a walk for Mastaro.
Maybe if the umpire strike zone wasn't a small quarter, I would actually be
Well, here's Flash. I mean, you can't blame him for that. I mean, it's just some umpires have a larger zone, some umpires have a tighter zone, and I think that it's more of a deal of, you know, what you see with the break, because some umpires, their preference is to call it as it is when it gets into the catcher's glove, which is why sometimes framing works so well. And then other times the preferences can be as it crosses the plane before it gets into the strike zone. But I've said before, you know, Deptford Township Little League got some virality earlier this year when their Little League made a rule change that said if a parent argues with an umpire, they have to umpire 3 games before they can return as a fan, which I think is a great idea. Well, and you're from Deptford, so you know you've got.
strikes time.
There you go. You go home early, get your pay. You know.
20-minute game.
There you go. Strike.
You want to argue your friend?
Yeah, and then you have to umpire 3 games yourself. But I mean, Deptford was like New Jersey's taste of virality for a little while there with with that Little League decision. By the
somebody would sneeze wrong.
You're a very impulsive umpire.
You want to sneeze?
That one misses.
Say I'm a sick umpire. It's alright.
Well, actually, there was a time where I had aspirations to be an umpire before I was a broadcaster, if you can believe that.
Wonderful umpire. You'd be trying to talk to players.
Oh, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Did you know that the last time Phillies had
I just do trivia time in the middle of the at-bat.
you can see we the Savannah Bananas. You remember the umpire in Savannah Bananas?
Oh yeah, I mean I've never really cared for the Savannah Bananas. I would not. I've never been a fan of it, but that's because I'm a baseball purist, you know. Whoa, here we go. Throw goes into right field. Going over to third and getting in there is going to be Starro, but wow. That was close. That was close. Liner out towards short, and it's going to be a tough play, and that's going to bring home a run, make it 10-6. So now runners on first and second for Brooklawn. After the base hit by Flash Krasuski, as now Joey Bogart is going to bat here, and we are going to see a visit from the assistant coach Phillips here for Washington Township 521. They're going to make a pitching change. The umpire wanted to signal to the bullpen that they're going to talk, and they're going to bring in Mike. Yeah, they want him to hurry it up, you know. Well, Mike Bauer is going to come in again. I didn't even know that this was allowed, but they took Bauer out of the game, and then they put him back in. So he's going to pitch twice. I've never seen this before. Yeah, I guess they're kind of playing, you know, hot potato with these pitchers, but although isn't hot potato just French fries? Hot potato is just French fries. Well, baked potatoes are good. What? That's not fried. Oh yeah, well yeah, that's fried. Baked potato is baked. Yeah, but all right. Well, it's 10-6 Brooklawn. We'll go to break. Mike Bauer is back on the hill. He is pitching again in a 10-6 Brooklawn lead. I know there's a lot of cops driving around here. Interesting. Here's the first pitch from Bauer, as this is going to be a bunt back towards the mound. Throw to first is in time. He got him. So Bogart is retired, and this will bring up Mastaro here with 2 down. I believe so. I believe that might be the first out, yeah. There's some fans up there getting a nice view of the ball game up in the press box. This is outside to Mastara. There's a fly ball out to deep center field. Going back, chasing it down, and making the play for the second out is going to be Carfagno in center. He's made a couple nice plays in this one.
How many people are home?
So that's going to bring in 1 run, and it's going to make it 11-6. As this is now going to bring up Damon Suriani. No, spelled differently than the Eagles coach. Well, it's Suriani as in S-U-R-I-A-N-I. But here's the first pitch to Suriani. Ground ball to Devaney. Gets right past him. Took off his glove there, and it goes in the left center field, making it 12-6. A 6-run lead for Brooklawn. For some reason, a 12-6 lead sounds different than a 6-0 lead, you know? Well, the game might be over soon because of light anyway. Might not matter. So, as long as the batters can still see, that's what kind of dictates it. I mean, I'll show you. Closer to what it looks like outside in the real world, 1/1000. That's what it looks like. We usually film day games at 1/350 and then night games at 1/750 or 1/1K. But that's kind of a showcase of the shutter speed and, like, you know what that's all about. So that's a strike. That's more of a camera enthusiast, like, nerdy thing, but there's a strike. Got to know everything about shutter speeds, but yeah, basically. Yeah, here comes the throw back to first. Nothing going on there.
You should make it count.
We should have a throw-over count.
Throwback count.
Like with the soccer team, the broken clipboard counter.
Did we?
I think we had 2 on the season.
Oh, we had more my senior.
Your senior year, yeah. Probably because the players frustrated them more. Here's a fly ball popped up, and it is caught to retire the side. We'll see what they can work with here with still a few more innings remaining, but there's no way that we're going to be getting through all 7 the way this game is going. We go to the top of the 6th, 11-6 Brooklawn.
Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, top of the 6th inning, still trying to chug along here in an 11-6 game in favor of Brooklawn here in American Legion Baseball, here on Dan Wilkins Broadcast. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. That one is going to be a painful one, as a hit by pitch leads off the bottom of the 6th for Mike Bauer. As this is going to bring up Robert Carfagno. Devaney on deck for post 521. Washington Township trying to get back into the game after being down, but they've been down all night. But the question is, can they surmount a decent comeback here before the lights go out? That one is in the dirt. Ball outside. 2-1. Should be 3-0. My apologies. There's the strike.
It's a rare moment.
3-1. What?
I just swore to pitch right before that was the exact same spot.
I think it was a little bit further off, but there's a swing and a miss. 3-2. Washington Township getting back into a full count here. I don't think we will, as that's going to be another walk. As now Devaney will bat with 2 on. I don't know if we're going to be getting. Oh yeah, like groundhogs and gophers. Well, think about it this way: Audubon's football field, you know, where. Yeah. Like a little LED arrangement, but that's foul. It's 0-1. So, the interesting thing is though, is that like for Audubon, with my home stadium for football, they don't have lights. They have to bring in temporary lights on wheels for their one Friday Night Lights game a year.
Friday Night Lights game for baseball?
They do not.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I'm talking about football.
They only have one?
They only have one per year.
I don't know, I only went to one.
Soccer gets more than football does. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, but that's because the turf has built-in lights, and you know the football field's got to bring in temporary lights to illuminate the field.
The thing I never got about that is, why don't they just put softball team?
Oh, here we go. Throw over to third, and it's in time. Tried to get a little greedy with it on the wild pitch, and now that's going to be 1 down. Yeah, it should be 2-2 here to Devaney. At least at the end of the game, our car is 20 feet away, so we won't have to walk very far to wrap up the equipment.
You had to do the math final?
What's that?
Did you have to do the math final?
Yes, I did. That's going to be a ground ball in the left center field, and that's going to be a base hit for Devaney. Could have been an RBI single if, oh my goodness, the ball's going to get away and Devaney's going to get to second base. So that's going to be a single E8 or E2. I'm not really scoring, so it's not a huge deal, but I stopped scoring in the 2nd inning because it was too much. It was too much. I couldn't get my lineups in time, and
These people in batting cages are starting to really get to me because I keep thinking that the ball's getting.
You keep thinking the ball's getting hit, and then you look up and it's the middle of the pitch. Yeah, there's some folks in the batting cages back there. But it's 12-6 in favor of Brooklawn.
That is a foul ball on the bunt. That might be fair. No, it wasn't. Wow. No, he bunted it, and then it was rolling fair, and it was going foul. It was kind of, moving like a snake. But yeah, it's 0-1 to Wallace. Matt Wallace here for representing Cumberland County. Misses away. I mean, this is getting to the point where I'm starting to struggle seeing it a little bit, so I don't know how the players are seeing it that well, but
I'm not struggling seeing it. I'm just annoyed that it's so long.
a lot of the fans are packing up their lawn chairs. I think they're
I can smell food.
almost ready to go. Here's a ground ball out to second, throw to first. Is in time. Oh,
No chance I can see.
he got in there. Believe he got in there. So great way to leg it out there, and
Wait, that was a away team, right?
yeah, so I believe a run did score.
7-12.
Yeah, 12-7. So here is now Joe Ruffino representing Washington Township. That one's a foul ball.
We've been out here for 4 hours, guys.
Well, how long has the broadcast been?
My director wanted me out here an hour and a half before the game even started.
Well, how let's see.
It's been going for 2.5 hours.
2 hours and 33 minutes.
We sat here for an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah. One is up and away. Oh, yeah, looks like this one's going to have a early ending. I'm not sure how early, but I think
Nobody has indicated.
I think they want to give. Oh, here we go. A little floater foul.
They're playing so hard ass because this is probably.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. I wouldn't imagine a way that they would play. They're trying to get every advantage that they can, and like we said, with one down, with how it is right now.
They would have to hit 5 runs just as high as.
Yeah, this is probably the last inning, and I'd imagine that after this, they would call it. And he went. So that's going to be 2 down, as Nace is going to come up here representing PVI. Potentially the last out, but we will see. I mean, I would say in this situation, if it was a tie game, I'd try to keep it, stretch it out a little bit more. And
10 minutes till sun's.
yeah, it's 8:22.
I don't see the sun.
Yeah, I don't see the sun anywhere. All the lights are on. But here is Ryan Nace of PVI. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. But I think what's important, is that if this game were tied or if it was a closer game, maybe you'd worry about playing the bottom of the 6th. But it would make no sense for them to play the bottom of the 6th because it would make no sense for them to play the bottom of the 6th because they really probably won't have any light by the time they get to the top of the 7th. They'd have to forego warm-ups for all we know. So
I do have no idea what the count is.
it's going to be 2-0 to Ryan Nace.
We're just going to go 3 now because it's most likely not going to be.
Runner goes. That one's going to be a strike call, and it's 2-1.
Wait, I should try that more often.
Reverse psychology?
Alright, here we go. Definitely not going to be an out.
Oh, you trying to get out of here early?
Definitely not going to be the last out. Definitely not about to swing in there.
Here's the pitch. That one is high and in. 3-1.
Oh, here we go.
We'll see what they can muster here with Ryan Nace of PVI. Runners on second and third. Brooklawn trying to secure the win in a 12-7 game in what has been a long one as darkness descends on Joe Barth Field. There's a foul ball out towards the street.
I'm waiting for him to hit the Camaro.
Here we go. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on as Brooklawn looks to win this one. The pitch is going to miss, and this is going to bring up Chris Camscioli, or Cam Scioli. Sorry, I had alphabet soup right there. Now with the bases loaded, we are going to see maybe a pitching change here.
Come on.
Just going to talk it over. I mean, obviously for Joe DeMara. Yeah, we'll see what's going on here. I think they're just going to talk it over, but we'll see. Got a early spring pitching change here in the bottom of the top of the sixth inning. New pitcher is going to be number 10, Sal Cersini.
Yep, we're going to have a new pitcher for about 2 pitches.
Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take, but obviously Brooklawn wants to get the game done quickly, and they might want to get it done with a little more efficiency as Washington Township down by 5 runs in a 12-7 game. So we'll see what we've got, and we'll see what we can work with here. Matt's getting ready to go. Here we go. That is a first pitch strike to Camscioli. If the inning were to continue, Matt Corner is up next. That's a swing and a miss. 0-2. I told you Cersini wanted to get this thing done early. So we'll see what's going on here as there is a ground ball out to third, and it's going to be booted, and Washington Township gets another run. It is 12-8 as now Matt Corner will bat. So runners, they're going to be everywhere. Yeah, bases are loaded. You're in a 12-8 game.
Listen, yo guys, grand slam here, tight again.
We will have to see as Corner is up, and that one's going to get away 1-0.
I'm actually. How far is it? Walk from here. You back by 2? Yeah.
That one goes to the backstop. You'd have to imagine there's visibility issues with the darkness, and they're trying to stretch this out as long as they can, get that third out before they have to force action, really. Up high, 3-0.
You know, our director needed a tent today.
I thought we would, but we did not.
I'm over here shivering. We need a tent.
That is ball 4, and Washington Township gets another run. It's 12-9.
Well, grand slam here, win the game.
I don't know how anybody can see right now. I can barely see the ball. I've got 20/20 vision. So here is
I have 2010.
yeah, here is Washington Township's yes, right here. Whoa, that one's gonna hit him, and that's gonna get a run home on the hit by pitch. It is now 12-10. As Dan Reisel is hit by the pitch, and this is gonna bring up.
I'd be mad if it was like 11-12.
Oh yeah, hit by pitch to tie the game. So now,
Great job pitching.
I'm sure that that's not going to help. But here, Mike Bauer is going to hit now. Here in the top of the 6th inning, probably one of the last batters we'll see, but it is 12-10.
Sunset just happened. So.
Yeah, technically the sunset did just happen, but they can still see out there. There's a strike. Umpire can still see too. He's making the calls. It's 0-1.
He's just throwing up random things now.
No, I don't think so.
He's a strike here. It's a ball.
Yeah, roll the dice.
Oh, it's on the ground.
0-1. There is another strike. 0-2 at the knees. And again, Brooklawn one strike away from winning. We'll have to see. Bases loaded. 2 outs. 12-10 ball game, and it misses.
Obviously, I'm probably putting that.
1-2. Great fastball there.
I'd be like, I'm tired of the strike.
1-2. Swing and a miss, and I think that will end the ball game as everyone is pouring out of the dugouts, and
Nobody's bringing the dugouts.
I think this is going to be a very common indicator here. Yeah, they're gonna call this one, and it's going to be a high-scoring game to end the night as Washington Township scores 3 runs. There were actually 4 runs in the top half of the 6th inning, and that's all she wrote, though. It is 12-10, the final, as Brooklawn takes home the win for post 72 over Washington Township post 512. Your player of the game is going to be Tyler Bunning, who had 4 RBIs and did a nice job in the DH spot, getting himself player of the game honors. No interview this evening, as I don't know if we'd even be having enough visibility for an interview, but make sure you send us an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com for any opportunities we may have for July and August, as we're always looking to fill up our schedule for the summer months. But that's a wrap here from Joe Barth Field. The final this evening, Brooklawn post 72-12, Washington Township post 521-10. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, my graphics crew Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer Matt Wagner, and myself Dan Wilkins. Brooklawn edges out a win 12-10. We'll be back soon.